Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 150. Day 150, we are in the process of solving word problems from day 101 through 200. We are halfway through today, number 50. Here's the problem for today. It's already on the blackboard. It says a room y yard by 7 feet, y yard by f feet. The dimensions of the rooms are y yard long and f feet wide. And it needs to be carpeted. Question simply is, how many square yards of carpet we need to buy? How many square yards of carpet do we need? Pause the video if you wish, solve it yourself, and then compare your work against the work that we're going to do together. Okay? So here we go. Let's first draw our room here. So we have f feet and y yards. That's the dimension of the room. Therefore the area of the room is 3y, area of the room is y yards times f feet. Now do you notice a problem here? The problem is that this dimension is expressed in yards, this dimension is expressed in feet. We either need to convert this feet into a yard or convert this yard into a feet before we can proceed. Otherwise we cannot do the work. If you want to add, somebody asks you how much is a 90 seconds plus a minute, well 90 seconds plus a minute, either you need to convert the seconds into minutes and tell them that it's 2.5 minutes, or convert those the 1 minute into seconds and just tell them that it's 150 seconds. But we cannot go around adding 90 seconds and 1 minute. It just doesn't work. They're different units. The units have to be the same. You understand? If somebody asks you how much is $10 and 3 euros, what the hell do I know? You either convert the euros into dollars or convert the dollars into euros before you can add up the two numbers. Before you can add up the two figures, because they are two different dimensions, two different units. That's what's going on here. The length is given in the unit of the length is yard, the unit of the width is feet. We need to change that. Let's convert this yard into feet. We know that 3 feet make 1 yard. 3 feet make 1 yard. So let's convert this y yard into 3 times y feet times f feet times f feet. Now we can figure out the area of the room. So we have 3y feet and f feet. 3y times f is going to be 3 times y times f, and then feet times feet times feet is going to give us our feet squared. So the area of the room is 3yf feet squared. Now, had the question simply asked us how many square feet of carpet is needed, we would have been done at this point. This is how many square feet do we need. But the question is not asking how many square feet we need. The question is asking how many square yards we need. So we need to convert the square feet into square yards. We need to convert the square feet into square yards. So now the question is, so now the question is, how many square feet in a square yard? And for those of you who already know the answer, don't worry about it, just put up with it, just tolerate it for a second. But for those of you who are not quite sure about it, that's why I'm making a big fuss about it here, so that we can learn it properly. How many square feet in a square yard? It's a very simple question, and yet many a times, more than I care to see, the students going around proudly announcing that there are 3 square feet in a square yard. Let's find out. And in order to find out exactly how many square feet in a square yard, in order to thoroughly understand it, we need to first draw a square yard. Yes, that's what I said, we're going to draw square yards. We need the room, I need the room, so I'm going to erase the top part. We no longer need the question, let's erase it. We can continue here, this question here, how many square feet in a square yard? We're going to continue up here. In order to answer this question, how many square feet in a square yard, we need to draw a square yard. Here's your square yard. Here's a square, it's 1 yard by 1 yard. Since it's 1 yard by 1 yard, the area of that box there is 1 square yard. It's a square yard we drew. Now, if it is 1 yard from here to here, it must also have 3 feet from here to here, because 1 yard is same as 3 feet. So let's break it into 3 equal parts, 3 feet right here. Similarly, if from here to here is 1 yard, it must have 3 feet. Let's erase this figure so we don't get confused. What I'm writing here has nothing to do with this figure. So this is 1 yard equals 3 feet. Let's break it into 3 equal parts. There. Now, each tiny box that we see here, from here to here, from here to here, each tiny box that we see here, this is 1 foot and this is 1 foot. So the area of each tiny box is 1 square foot. It is 1 square foot. And how many square feet do you see that fit in that square yard? There are 9 of them, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 9 square feet make a square yard. 9 square feet make a square yard, which makes perfect sense if you think about it, because 1 yard equals 3 feet. If 1 yard equals 3 feet, then if you were to square this side of the equation, we need to square this side of the equation. The whole thing gets squared. 3 gets squared. So when you open the parentheses, we get 3 squared, which is 9, and feet squared, voila. 1 yard squared equals 9 feet squared. So this number that we got here, it is in feet squared. We need to convert it into square yards. We need to divide that by 9. So let's do that then. So we need to divide this quantity right here. 3yf over 9 square yard. And then 3 divided by 9 is simply y times f over 3 square yard. There is the final answer. That's how many square yard we need to take care of the room. That's how many square yards we need to take care of the room. Now I'm going to erase everything now because it's getting too crowded. Just we're going to leave whatever stuff that we absolutely need here. So the answer originally was 3y times f square feet, and 3y times f square feet, when you divide by 9, it gives you y times f over 3 square yards. Remember, 9 square feet is make a square yard. We need to verify that answer. We need to verify that answer, make sure it is in fact the right answer. And how do we verify our answer? By plugging in numbers. So here's our room. Here's our room. This was a y yard and this was f feet. Y yard and f feet. Let's plug in numbers. What do you want to plug in? Let's pretend that the room is 10 feet by 6 yards. 10 feet by 6 yards. What is going to be the area of this guy here? 10 feet by 6 yards. Well, 10 feet here, if you were to divide by 3, is same as 3 1/3 yard. So the area of this guy is 6 feet by 3 1/3 yard. 6 yard times 3 1/3 yard. 3 1/3 yard. Watch what happens. Six times 3 is 18. 6 times 3 is 18, and then we got 6 times a third. 6 times a third is 2. So it's 18 plus 2, or 20 square yards. 20 square yards. Let's see if this gives us 20 square yards. Let's erase all of this thing here. This thing that we found better give us same answer as this one here, 20 square yards. So wherever we see y, we're going to replace it with 6. Right here is y, replace it with 6. Wherever we see f, we're going to replace it with 10. It's 10 feet. You see, we plugged in 10 for f. Over 3. You think it's going to give us 20? Of course it's going to give us 20. Right here, watch. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 10 is 20, which is what we found here. Voila. It's the same answer. See? So that in fact is the correct expression. We just verified it, that it is the right answer. It is the right expression to give us how many square yards of carpet we need for this room. All right. Now listen. I made this problem very complicated on purpose. It did not need to be this complicated. We're going to learn something from it, and here's what I want you to learn out of it. Listen carefully. I'm going to read the problem one more time to you so that I can talk about what I have to say. It says a room is, right here, a room is y yard by f feet. The question was, how many square yards of carpet we need? Listen carefully. How many square yards of carpet do we need? Well, whatever the question is asking at the end, whatever algebra problem, word problem algebra word problem goes something like this. A typical format is mumbo jumbo, mumbo jumbo, mumbo jumbo, and then the punchline. How old is Mike? How much carpet do we need? What is the cost of the banana? Whatever it is, the punchline, whatever it is that they're asking, you have to pay attention to that. Here the question was, here the punchline was, how many square yards of carpet we need? How many square yards of carpet do we need? Since the punchline is in square yards, we could have saved us a lot of headache, a lot of trouble, if we had simply converted our units from the very beginning into yards. Instead of doing this mumbo jumbo that we did, we could have saved ourselves a lot of headache had we simply converted this feet into yard from the very beginning, because this is already in yard. This is y yard, this is f feet. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to solve the problem again in a way that saves us time. Okay, watch here. We're going to erase everything. We don't have to worry about this thing. We don't have to worry about how many square feet into square yard. We're not going to end up making that mistake because we are avoiding all things. We are converting our units right from the very beginning. There's a word that comes to my mind. I'm not sure if I have covered it in my vocabulary videos. And before I say it, before I make a fool of myself, I want to verify it, that it is in fact the right word. There you go. The word is obviate. What does it mean to obviate? It means to make something unnecessary. By converting this feet into yards from the very beginning, we're going to obviate, we're going to take away the necessity of having to convert down the road our square feet into square yards. We will no longer have to worry about how many square feet in a square yard. We're going to obviate that work because we're going to convert this feet into yards right away. So here's our room. Our room looks like this. Y yard y yard times f feet. F feet. Well, f feet is same as f over 3. F feet is same as f over 3 yard. Voila. We're done. The area of this room is f over 3. That's how many yards is there, times y. That's it. Which is exactly what we found before. The area of this room is f over 3 yards into y yard. Watch what happens. F over 3 times y is just f times y over 3, and then yard times yard times yard is your yard squared, or square yards if you like, which is exactly the answer we found before. I don't know if I still have it around here or not, but that was the answer we had before. F times y over 3 square yards. We didn't have to do anything at all because we did our conversion from the very beginning. Always convert your units from the very beginning into the units of the punchline instead of having to do it at the very end. It's always a good idea. Do you understand? The very last thing I want to do before we call it a day. I don't know if I have covered this word in the vocabulary video or not. I don't think I have. So I'm going to make a note to myself after the video is finished to cover this word in the future, just like the video that you're watching right now, the algebra video, just like that, because I do tutoring for SAT, GRE and GMAT, and in those exams, in addition to having a decent math skill, in addition to having a decent grasp of the mathematical concepts, it is also important for the English portion of the exam to have a decent vocabulary. And for that reason, I have put together some vocabulary videos. I think I'm up to day number 63. But whatever the day it is, the very next day that I tape, I'm going to make sure that I cover this word obviate, which means to make something unnecessary by having it done ahead of time. Preemptively, if you like. Take care of it ahead of time so that you obviate the necessity of having to do it later. Obvious? No, not. I take it back. That what I just said was redundant. To obviate having to do that later. Do you understand? Don't say to obviate the necessity is too redundant, because that's what obviate means. It means to remove the necessity of having to do something later. Where was I going with it? The last thing I want to do before I call it a day is to explain this thing one more time what I did here. Okay, watch here. It was 6 times, forget about the fact that this is yard and this is yard, 6 times 3 and 1/3. In case you're curious as to what the hell I was doing, 6 times 3 and 1/3 is same as, can we write 3 and 1/3 as 3 plus 1/3? Can we write that? That's 3 plus 1/3? Of course we can, why not? 3 can be written as 3 plus 1/3. And outside we have times 6. So what I did was this, okay? Because a lot of the times I see people sitting there trying to figure out, oh my god, how do I do 6 times 3 and 1/3? That's very simple. Don't do 6 times 3 and 1/3. Break it up. Break it up into parts that you can manage. Okay? Divide and conquer. As the British said when they came to conquer my land, the India. Divide and conquer. Don't try to do all at once. Here's this. 6 times 3. 6 times 3. And then plus. So that's the first part. Plus 6 times the third. 6 times the third. That should be 3, not 8. I don't know where 8 came from. 6 times, oh, I know where 8 came from, because I was thinking of 18. So here's your 6 times 3, which is 18. And then a third of the 6, well, a third of the 6 is 2. Everybody knows that. But if you have to show the work, if you must show the work, you can show the work like this. 6 is the same as 6 over 1. So the 3 cancels out with 6, it becomes 2. So there is your 2. That's how we got 20. 18 plus 2. You see, 6 times 1/3. 6 times 1/3. That is all what I had for today. I will see you tomorrow on day number 151. Perhaps this thing turned out longer than it needed to be, but it's done. I will see you tomorrow on day number 151. Okay? Bye now.